as we continue our lovely day. It is not hard to become all you can be. It is a choice you make over time in life and all relationships. And as a 5D Mystic mentor, content creator, and podcast host who's inspiring human potential guidance on being yourself. If you tuned in, great. If you didn't, it's okay. Let me just share with you the 5D Collective. They are mystics and people who choose to live and love mindfully, spiritually by being ourselves. That's because we know how to use our ventral vagal energy and our non reactive nervous system by choice. We pursue or have and maintain a self with internal secure attachment. So that's the first step. Then we invest and grow in genuine relationships. No, we always do that, but we learn along the way for some of us. So I kept my inner child adult alive, and that's why healthy self-worth woman here, I can tell you it's not something devastating to meet men or women. I don't know days, but people who are emotionally unavailable, mentally non-bilaterally integrated, actually get used to Cusco's, and that's where you know that you've got what it takes. I've got what it takes to be a life partner because I don't make a promise and then turn 360. Also, because I don't lie about my emotions and I don't hide my emotions from myself or from you. So I know face offs. For real. Vulnerability, it's called. So, okay, that's what makes a life partner. It's you've got what it takes because you're an internally securely attached person. The ones who are still healing, that's a different story. But if they're healing with a good therapist, we work together. Let's get together. Yes, because they're healing. So they say, hey, I have these maladaptive patterns of behavior. I have these inner child wounds. They have a list for us. They're like, okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, here's what's the plan. And it's all fun. Yes, we choose by purpose to be in our ventral vagal, the non-reactive, the 3-year-old funny bone. I'm just saying, that's choice between people. So internally, securely wanting is not going to come say, I don't want my 1-year-old internally securely attached. No, they're not going to do that. Okay, great. So we choose restorative embodiment. We know that we can aspire to be the very wonderful people that we're also meeting. You see? So we aspire, we inspire, we tap into the infinite higher human conscious potential. Why? Because bilateral and vertical integration, that's why. And 9 domains of integration. Dr. Daniel Siegel, thanks, man. He's the one who teaches me smart things, not the only one, and not my only man, and not mine. I don't own anyone. They don't own me. We are very free. I'm free to be what I, yes, I actively am free as a 3-year-old and an empowered feminine. Oh my gosh, I love being that. So we don't look and say, oh, let me tuck myself into your hole. Your heart has a hole. I learned what that means. I don't tuck myself in there. I say, hey, you know you're beautiful, right? You can fill that hole with your own self-love. And I'm not kidding. And your self-awareness, accountability, it's great. Can you bring your whole heart to me? I'll share my whole heart. Yes, I actively have noticed that the ones who don't have a whole heart, well, they like to get captured. And I don't want to be captured. I'm a free range, I don't know, human being. I'm a free range 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and I have a funny bone. See? So that's great. I love to love, and my baby, he loves to dance, and he loves to love and not catch me. Nope, he loves to say, hey, I'll see you later, alligator. Peace out. Later, yep. Remember, don't lie to me. I won't. I'll come have a face off later on. I look forward to it. How? With intellect and a lot of emotional funny bones. And that's because my Italian Neapolitan spirit, yes, I'm bicultural. We don't do anything quietly, but we will do it in the privacy. We wait. Like with my friend. Remember my facade friend, those of you who tune in? Yes, as I waited till we got into the car, turned to him like a angry human being and said, I don't remember what I said. I just know I said, what the fuck? I told you one thing. In those first 2 days where we made up, we became friends again, one thing I asked. I said, just be yourself. And now this. I said, what the fuck? Don't you know how to tell me how you think? And I'm just on a roll, and I'm like, and I see his blank stare, and I go home and I think about it. And we have an episode on the podcast where I share with you all. And now I have also attachment trauma information to let you know again, facades, they don't know anything. My friend's heart. I love my friend. I said, it's okay. You know what? I'm okay. Let's hug. He still has a whole, no, he doesn't. He has a partner. And then I get to keep being a friend of his, and he gets to be a friend of mine. So we choose restorative embodiment, and that involves healthy self-regulation, healthy self-soothing, and our non-reactive nervous system, social engagement system state, which means not that you don't get angry. No, I get angry as what my somatic therapist teachers called an angry Buddhist, but I'm not a Buddhist. I'm a Christian Catholic. And also, I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. And I do know about those who do not enjoy our Reiki practitioners. We leave it alone. Again, some people are stingy and they think they own the Holy Spirit and words and faith, which they don't. So we leave alone the ones who keep on being non-bilaterally integrated and refuse to, in fact, go and get themselves to good therapists. That's all the people. That's it. That's what we do. We have them on a volcano surrounded by therapists. That's what I do, at least, so that we can hope they heal. And that they understand that their demons are theirs from their childhood and not from, we don't need any of their past lives. I mean, that stuff has been cleared away because our planet is 5D frequency. Thanks to space weather, not because of the twin flame collective. No, that those are other show yourself, when people need to feel big and important because they don't realize how big and important they are as their whole self, which is where we come into next. So we successfully accomplished the restored embodiment, all this fun stuff, thanks to in day-to-day life and relationships, using and applying the inner growth mindset. That's what I created. And then I add, as a mindfulness practitioner, mindfulness practices. And when we have our universal love transmission sessions, I get to give you personal development with the Reiki energy. For those who will accept it, you can also say no and just do the personal development process and walk yourself through it. Oh, and mindsight skills, which I learned from Dr. Daniel Siegel. But you can only have mindsight if your insula is active, and as Peter Levine points out, because you can contain all sensations, images, affects, meanings, behaviors, which means you can use your prefrontal cortex and focus attention in the maximum of uncertainty. So awareness, you know how to deal with the unknown, unexpected, and unwanted without going offline. So you stay open-hearted and you stay in there for your ventral vagal energy and not be like, how dare you confuse science with spirituality? Okay, so you need to be able to be like soft and giggly. That's by choice. This is where you get Krishna Lila in the door and you have fun with people. You don't say they're stupid for real. You just say they're stupid to things that you find stupid, but you're stupid to the people who don't find what you say smart. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. It's like, okay, I'm stupid too. So we do internal securely attached mystics and relationships with people and mystics. That's the empowered feminine. So bringing together human spiritual and spirituality elements to explore human evolution and consciousness. Now, this is the most amazing part. So please remember, as 5D mystics, I bring enlightenment functional adult podcast host, content creator. I bring to you healthy adult relationships. Mentor you if you want. You sign up for the masterclass if you want. You sign up for the spirituality retreats, great. But we have news stories that heal trauma. Well, they're healing trauma. The ones who don't want to. That's why we don't insult them with Lucifer. We just let you know, Cusco, Squirrel, Yzma, Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, Diego's family, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and when Eric doesn't accept me with my tail, so I use funny stories to say that's all the fancy 3D 4D. That's it. That's all. They just want to be the Flintstones. Where are the Flintstones? Yabba, yabba, yabba. So they use words like toxic, but they use it to try and say, you need to follow me because I'm not toxic. Really? Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure I could be considered toxic by someone, especially if they don't like my tone and if they don't own their brain, like their 14-month-old brain. So I own my brain. I own all of this. It's called the sense of self of Maria, and the solo, and the core, and the narrative, and the relational, but I'm not alone. All by myself. No, I don't want to be all alone. In fact, my lovely community, again, our body has an empowered feminine right here. Here she is. And that's because we choose to mindfully engage our non-reactive social engagement nervous system because it's not personal. So you get to learn this from your family, your peers, and not to fall for peer pressure. And that's very easy for some of us right here. So it's not hard, again, to make a very conscious choice of what do I want to bring tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius helped me too. He's like, hey, why are you worried about dying, Maria? How about you worry about what you're leaving? No, don't worry. How about you leave? What do you want to leave behind, Maria? I want to help people. What do you want to help them do? Be their self. By what? Having them be happy at their heart, with a whole heart. I don't want them to have holes in their heart. And then God told me to mind my own business about the 0-1-year-old. But the attachment trauma educators taught me that I'm not needed and that I'm a bonus, that they can get them all to have their inner child adult. So that's cool. And then you can come and have more fun if you want with extra stuff. It's called extra work. No, because we like school. I love school. So bonus, you get to be more happy than you were yesterday. Or you can say, I want that, Maria. I want life now. And I'll say, there's a Zen master that will give you a way to cop out from any of what I'm offering. And for you to say, she's a fako. There's no enlightenment there. In fact, non-reactivity, it's not inherently true that it is enlightenment or your health. And somebody smart's going to laugh at that and be like, what the fuck? Okay, did that just come out of her mouth? Whoa, okay, so my mind, like yours, if you're mindfully aware of yourself, accountable, regulating, again, with flaws, imperfections, stupidity, all over the place, but it's an empowered masculine. It's because pursuing and having bilateral and vertical and all over integration is just the funnest thing that you could ever share. And no, women, it is not by being locked up all by yourself with no girlfriends and you're so strong because you did it all by yourself, or that you don't meet the man of your life. You know, whenever I hear those men who think they're being inspirational, I think of the woman who gets on screen and says to women this, which is why now I know they all laughed with her. So I'm going to pause as I finish. So the integrated brain, human being right here, okay? With the inner growth mindset, and that's with thoughts and explorations, is a very straightforward equation how to bring all of me forward. My mother taught me, God taught me, everybody that I know, even empowered men taught me that I'm an object, and disempowered men taught me that too. And so when I think of myself and those lovely, not so lovely and interesting, even just some of that, anyways, you get what I'm saying. Wait. So the heart is open right here, and it leads with our higher whole self. So my heart stayed open as it does with a functional inner child adult mystic. And lo and behold, as I get to keep growing up, I'm a grown up. We're going to give me my mid 20s. I'm going to do my mid 20s. How does that sound? When I started to see roosters and hens act like fools, and I had heard enough about them complaining about fucking each other, and I just said, why are you doing it then? And no, I don't go around fucking just anyone. That's actually something that doesn't happen for any human being who has a healthy adult gut, because that means you have self-worth, okay? So it's not a competition. I know when I hear ignorant college students, women and men, saying, I feel more lonely. And I say, so don't do it. And they say, no, but I want, your inconsistency today as an attachment trauma informed human being tells me you don't own yourself. You don't own your narrative, your core, your solo, or your relational self. You know what? You don't have internal inner child secure anything yet. Patrick Tiahan would be great, so you don't have to do anything and feel shitty when you wake up in the morning, men or women or they. So I didn't need any of this because, again, my mother taught me self-respect, respect of others, and that's in every case scenario. And don't curse at people who are bad-mannered. You learn how to be respectful. So with your ventral vagal state and with your conscious choosing, you don't just fuck anybody. No, you actively, selectively, as some of my lovely men and women friends will point out, that I am picky. And I say no, and then they say you're selective. And I say, well, am I supposed to want to hang out and be around just any man, woman, or they? I mean, I'm wondering. You think I should be around the lack of intelligent and emotionally available human beings? Because pretty sure they're unhealthy. Self-soothing, self-regulating. They got a bunch of unhealthy shit going on, and then you get to watch them from afar because I don't participate in any unhealthy business. Long story short, as we close this one out, again, it's not confusing for healthy self-worth women, men, or theys how to lead a really, really great life because we choose to respect you. So when you bring to me your adaptive child pattern of behavior and your maladaptive, it doesn't matter. I know how Jesus taught me. Forgive, Maria, because they don't know. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. Don't cast stones, Maria, because you're not God. Don't play judger or any of that. So, I mean, the indications were really straightforward, which is why you know integrity as a teenager. And that's why you also don't respond to unkindness and people who are assholes and betrayers and liars and all that. I mean, they're just, again, it's not Lucifer, it's cowards. The actual word coward. They're not badass. And when they follow human beings who allow them to continue being cowards, it's not impressive. It's just called, I find it hard to believe the first years of life means shit. Well then, I got another one, don't I? And I'm not going to be trying because, I'm not the neuroscientist who can remember everything. I'm only the one who learns from them and then says, hey, guess what? I'm being myself right here. You having a good time? I'm having a good time. Let's have a good time. So you get to choose all you can be because the minute that you will interact with me, you know what you're doing. You know what you're bringing to the table. Patrick Tiahan, he's a childhood trauma survivor, healing, good therapist. He always points out everything about how healing works, which is why I respect him. And the fact that they don't want to forgive, I can respect that completely because I could only imagine if I found out that I was denied to be happy inside And I was denied to be able to trust in human beings and in a true lover and in love. And that's why you can understand I, Maria, who love people. Oh, I mean, I can't imagine it because I'm not a childhood trauma survivor who's awakened to me disrespecting myself, disrespecting people I love, a lot of shit, and that's why I don't find it fancy that that man and woman and more in suit continue to support what is ignorance. The woman, I don't even know where she comes from and don't really care. The man has potential, and yet he's chosen for some reason. And actually, I know why, because every one of us matters. Every voice is here for a group of people. As always, I'm bringing in God and I'm bringing in Determined with Robert Sapolsky, but I'm bringing in, we're 8 billion people, and every one of us count. And every little bit counts. The group who wants to do the ventral vagal, great. We're going to be in our 5D frequency. And then we're going to have our brothers and sisters who don't want it because they're comfortable in fear. And they're comfortable in a visceral, that means nothing more than the teenagers who as a teenager were in their adolescent essence and therefore immature and choosing their now choice. But the ones who didn't have an inner secure child like I did were more susceptible to peer pressure because they didn't own their solo self. Their core self-narrative relational self means they didn't own their sense of self. As Patrick Tiahan will point out, it will have been paused. And as all these other smart human beings that I learned from will have pointed out, that social engagement or social system, I think is what one guy, he says, this social system is like your primordial 3-year-old who knows, and 1-year-old actually, I can't live without a human. Our mammalian heritage knows I need one alloparenting human. I have a twin, so to me, I was never alone, which is why I don't have fear of being all by myself. I don't have fear of nature because, one, we're part of nature, but I have one human being in my implicit memory. Determined, Robert Sapolsky, come on in. And God, sure, but I'm saying I believe in God. You don't have to. You might not believe in anything. So I can bring to sciences that says, and then I can acknowledge why I don't have fear of being disowned, because the one secure connection that I've always had in the belly growing up, my twin. And we repaired ruptures consistently, even being disowned. I found out you can't actually get disowned. So it's, you can't disown me. You have to put up with me. Okay, I'm just saying, that's a 3-year-old right there. And who am I spiting? Well, my twin, that's it. And I wasn't really spiting her. We were having fun. We still have fun. In fact, people don't want to be around us when we're having one of our moments. Last time it happened, I said, look, let's keep it to ourselves, our own dynamic. It's our nervous systems. Just head on into a room somewhere and we'll have our usual dynamic, because that's how it works. Because you don't want to bother the other people around you. So 3-year-olds know how to share the floor, and then we know how to set it aside so that the others don't have to join in on something that they're not really part of, okay? Which is, by the way, what a true life partnership is. It's okay, come on over, let's talk about this shit. Now, to be serious and conclude what I was getting to, so you need one alloparenting or one safe and secure attachment figure, one to learn to self-regulate in your ventral vagal state. Okay, and that's why the person and your 1-year-old matters. And then your 3-year-old is where, if your 1-year-old is securely attached, here we need repairing ruptures. So a third of attunement, repairing ruptures. That's what can create and maintain and earn secure attachment. But as Stephen Porges points out, your nervous system is going to determine that as it interacts with environmental circumstances. And as you hear people talking to you, so you still are interpreting it. Okay, and then as Dr. Daniel Siegel also points out, besides the attachment category, we got temperament with the personality traits, and he has a PDP framework that I am finishing up to get learned about besides his IPNB framework. But to bring a long story short and close on out this one, as an adolescent in one of my courses with NICBM, there's a man, I don't remember his name, as he presents studies and findings about our adolescent brain, seeking now our next alloparenting group. So you're going to have 5 from your first 8 years and 11 years, and now you're going to look, I own my sense of self because I'm Maria, a person who's not internally securely attached as a teenager, adolescent actually, they're not at the 14, 15, 16 yet, we're at the 11, 12. Now they are going to find themselves, it's like water, air, and food though. The alloparenting, you need it to survive. So it's physically, I need another human being if I'm going to make it out alive with animals. And that is how the biology without the words implicit. Okay, so this is what people ignore, and why, yeah, determined. I haven't read it, but that's why he says you don't have free will. You're building upon the first 3 years of your life. And so to get to your origins and to get to become flexible, that's why there's a journey for those who are actually badass, and they go to therapy and they claim themselves, and they're not walking around telling people how to feel or how to think. No, they're just doing their healing. And when they come with their empowering messages, you're going to see they're not going to whine about their pain point. They're going to inform you of what was hard for them, not hard, and then they're going to share with you how to support people from their group and stuff like that. And so whenever you have supporting each other, nobody is saying, you have to regulate my nervous system for me. You have to talk the way I want you to talk. It's going to be, this is how we respect differentiation of the self. A securely attached person respects and understands the journey. Yeah, there's people weaponize words when they're adaptive child. You're an enabler. Am I now? I just won't answer that. I'll just be like, okay, I got an ignorant one in front of me who doesn't know how to talk like a grown up. It's called an adaptive child who's just made an unbridled self expression in their threat response, like that fancy lady who's a half a brain, because again, you don't know that when you are in a threat response, you are using your limbic system and you're not using two sides. Then you're actively in a charged state for no other reason except for you don't know how to talk like a grown up. Equanimously, ventral vagal state. That's what the grown-up means when I use it. So functional child adults, though, we have fun too, because we're again reclaimed and or didn't lose. Adolescent, I didn't lose Maria because I chose Maria. And then I went ahead being picky and I chose my first teenage boyfriend after us being first of all friends for a while. In fact, it was very funny. A lot of things were funny, and so were the other stories that took place. But I never looked back and said, if only I had been different. Ah, the lovely little woman as she's speaking words. So remember, ladies, if they fuck you, remember what not to think. And I'm waiting for it because my brain's like blank. I'm like, what's she about to say? I have no fucking clue what's about to come out of her mouth. And lo and behold, wedding bells and all these little women laughing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Did that just happen? I want to shake the man's hand because obviously if he's that honest, at least I know you told me that all you wanted was an object, which I'm going to say, no, thank you. I'm uninterested, but at least you had balls at that. I'm going to respect you for the balls that you might have, even though I'm going to say, you know what, really, I don't think you want to say that to other women. Two, I really feel that you might want to consider what you're seeking from a relationship, because STDs are really, uncomfortable. But also, do you really think that that is what you want? I think you might want to look into, yeah, I don't know. But my point is, all these women laughing. I'm like, who the fuck are these women? How? And then I thought of the women who actively have the way she thinks. And then I thought about the therapist. And then I thought about Patrick Tiahan. As he says, one of the indications of you having childhood trauma is you dating people that basically treat you like shit and you don't do anything about it. And then I thought about when I found it hard to believe, or basically just anybody's like, why are you making trauma the focus of everything and emotional unavailability? Well, because I found out the answer to a lot of things that I kind of noticed already as a kid. And now I know how to explain to you why, as a teenager, you weren't successful in claiming to be yourself, because if you didn't own yourself, well, guess what? It's not only peer pressure, you actively will have been not the owner of yourself. So there's a way to explain it. I'm not going to give it to you because it takes too long and I have another episode in mind. But the point is that when you don't own the sense of self, you basically will, and you know what? A good series that I noticed them doing this, they probably don't even know that they were, but it's Monk. And there's a couple of episodes where he is like those who do not own their self, who are influenced as soon as they're in a room with someone else. Because see, when you don't own yourself, your sense of self, the best way I can tell you is that you're going to be affected by everybody else around you, because you are regulating according to other people's nervous system. So it's a very in-depth conversation that we don't have to have right now, which is why it's not funny, but it's also why the 4D mystics who ignore getting themselves healed are all over talking about time jumps and being this and being that, and they completely just take on and dress up. And none of them have gotten, in the years I've been a mystic since 2007, because that's when my clairs began to get active and all this, and they haven't budged 1 inch. I'm not even laughing. I mean, I am laughing. I just don't find it funny. I find it not hard to believe because I've been explained, Dr. Daniel Fox, what lack of self aware people and accountable people with personality disorders, and then others like Jim Porges with childhood trauma or anything, lack of self awareness, become the fancy man and woman in suit. And then they also go prancing around together like flat earthers and any of those groups who don't really notice how to stay grounded in reality and have a good time with information. So we don't create groups with information, is what I should also share. Being the best that you can be is all about you being able to have integrity. And you have integrity when what other people say about you doesn't matter, but you're not ashamed of what you have done. And those teenagers who were all children continue to lead their way. And then in college, I'm hearing shame, shame, shame. Again, I'm hearing people who are unhappy with what they're doing. And I'm wondering, why are you doing it? And now I can explain to you all, it still happens. Where I get to hear people who wake up miserable. And I think, okay, I've shared in conversations concepts that are not just concepts. They actively would have you being in your well-being, and you're going around with your mantle thinking that you're a healer because you have clairs, when you're basically not even bothering to heal yourself because your inner child is being disregarded for some fancy name that you've decided to use, like the Zen master, and tell me that you think you're a Zen master. Now, you're lacking the self-aware accountability and regulation skills to use your prefrontal Zen master, so you don't know Zen and you're not a master. You just have a title. But some people, that's all that it is needed, because those people want to do what the Zen master does, which is use the title, not use their full brain, and they'll be like, that's a bullshit lady. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm a bullshit lady maybe because I'm pseudoscience lady, but I learned from sciences people who get told that they're pseudoscience on YouTube. So, I mean, really, it's about, let's just point out, 5D Collective, come on over, have a good time here, and then we get to make fun of the weak ones who choose to not believe in us. And that's why we have new stories from Disney, because again, they're all caricatures, or whatever the word is. They're all a Cusco, they're an Yzma, they're an Ursula, they're a what's else, Diego's family. They're not Lucifer. No, they're human beings, which I love. I mean, I don't want to be near them, but I love, because I really want them to get better. That's why I put them all around a volcano as the smart people that give me ideas. And then I surround them with therapists, and then I pixie dust. And then I know that they might talk about me as a villain because I'm a Reiki master and an Akashic record reader. And I'm also a tarot card reader. So, you keep on moving forward as you get to expand to become all that you can be. And if there's one thing that you know, when you don't change who you are, because you do own your whole self and you stay that way, oh, it's that I would have told my teenager self, hey, guess what? You are going to get magical powers, but they're not magical powers. They're something even more amazing. Because I have a direct relationship with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and my childhood being raised as a Catholic Christian. And I do know I'm not welcomed by all, but I love when I get to meet the ones who know that I'm still the same person that I was when I was growing up. And so, again, I'm sad for people who have an awful experience. People are afraid. I'm sad for them protecting people who hurt people. That's the saddest thing ever, and a lot more. But anyways, I'm also sad because in TV, they're not sharing with you all neuroscientist Patrick McNamara and how there's no demon that possesses you, when they have a docu-shitty stuff on yesterday's news. I know yesterday's news. I know about demonic possession. It's not a demon. It's explainable. So how about you add some good information versus tell me that it's internet that is disinforming. No, you have on Netflix, Amazon, and elsewhere docu-whatevers. I've seen them. I tried watching one. I fell asleep without talking about dissociative disorder, without talking to me or putting some little thing about DID or disorganized attachment, or again about a neuroscientist, Patrick McNamara, who talks to us about decentralization of the self. So you have on TV still incorrect information and also stigma. And so, it's not internet that's the problem. No, the problem is the people who, when I tell them about neuroscientists, oh, well, everybody needs something to believe in. Okay, again, I'm the pseudoscience lady. I'm the mystic woo-woo, not the neuroscientist. So people, they will decide if they want to be smart or if they just want to say, I want to agree with the people that I like the narrative they have for me. And I will respect that you decided to stay ignorant, but at least have the capacity to, not treat neuroscience like a belief. But again, this is where I'm sharing it with you all. I can't tell somebody as they're telling me that they don't believe in science anything, because if you can't say something, I should say no. No, I'm a 4'9" woman who stands no chance in front of a man and a woman and anyone. And really, why would I put my physical safety in danger to tell you something that you just told me you don't believe in? I mean, that's just disrespectful. And it's also stupid for me as a human being who doesn't lack the capacity to use two sides of my brain, and that has the priority of keeping myself physically safe from you. And I'm serious. That's my priority. And then I can share with you who I am because I have self agency. And then if you're interested, I will bond with you very gladly. Do you want to dance? And that's actually how I'm motivated. My PDP analysis, safety, self agency, bonding. So there you go. Number 3. It's a perfect number. And I actively was not surprised when I saw that. And I shared it with my family, and they were not surprised either. That's why determined. Come on in, Robert Spolsky. And God, who told me to mind my own business about the 0-1-year-old. And then, though, Dr. Daniel Siegel and all the other smart ones that I've learned from. And I can share with you, personal development is awesome. And so is self-help. But it's only if you own your 1-year-old. If not, then Patrick Tiahan is awesome. And so are a lot more of good therapists. And then no, that's it. Get yourself to function a child adult, then you're gonna have fun here and what we're doing. But you can have fun obviously if you want to come by. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for stopping by. And again, share the good word. Everyone's healable if they have the will to desire to love themselves first, be their self, and actively notice, oh look, in life I'm bringing out awesomeness. Oh look, in relationships I'm also bringing out awesomeness. You're a piece of shit, so we're having a good time. And we don't have any of that, oh my god, how dare you. Because yeah, that gets really boring for any smart, intellectually, emotionally, physically intelligent 5D collective. Come on over, functional child adults, we have a funny bone. So we might be back with something more, but if you don't stop by, again, thank you for stopping by.